Alright, so this is the chimney that goes up the outside of the house, but because we're in the mudroom, it's the inside of the house in this very spot. And it has been plastered right up against the brick there. And when we were working on the mudroom, we discovered that we are going to have to take it off because it's actively leaking water there. So Rebecca had a really good point, which is that we could either think this is miserable or we could make this fun. And I immediately rejected that idea, but I was wrong, and we should just make it fun. So I'm just going to keep hitting this with a hammer, and you can see we've got some nice clean brick there that I got down to. The wet stuff is gross, and so I'm just scraping that away. So we'll see what happens. After maybe 20 minutes of attacking this wall and making little to no progress, I've determined that these are not necessarily the appropriate tools. Very shortly I will be going and buying a mason chisel and some kind of more appropriate hammer, I think. Maybe the hammer's fine, we'll see. In the meantime, I will let this wall sit and shudder, knowing that its destruction has only just begun. Just bought this thing at Harbor Freight. So this is the smallest one that they have because that matches the smallest compressor that anybody has. And I've already tested it out, and I get something like 5 seconds of chiseling on this chimney with that, but it is way more effective than anything else. So it's probably worth just charging it and using it once in a while. But I've also purchased let's see, a masonry chisel. So see how it glints in the sunlight there, like a sword ready for battle. Bling, bling, bling. And so yeah, we'll test that out too. I'll give you some feedback, and I think what we're going to try and do here is like a time lapse of this, because it's going to be a lot of work, and I don't want it to look like it doesn't take forever, because it will. Yeah, so you can see there that that chisel is the best way to do that. I really didn't end up going with the compressed air at all. I just used the chisel. So once this thing was cleaned off, we've still got this water spot, and I'm gonna have to figure out what to do there. It looks like the next step is probably going to be to take off whatever's on the other side of this wall, which is just in the bathroom now. So I'd like to point out a couple things here. Number one, right, kitchen utensils as wallpaper. I love it. It's like Pinterest but from 1920. So that's pretty cool. But also we've got some water damage there. So that looks to be, just judging from the size of this circle, like, you know, the center of that wet ring is just somewhere in the middle of this wall. So we'll see if we can find it and figure out what's going on. Maybe if I leave this for a while to dry out, you know, once I've got the plaster off of it, we'll see. But, you know, I'm pretty happy with how this came out. Next phase of the project is going to be cleaning up the brick and putting some kind of sealer on there, and we'll go from there. Yeah, so epilogue. My wife cleaned the floor for me while I was at work today, so not only is the wall free of debris, but the floor is free of debris as well. So that's good news for people who like good news.